Hi, Mr. Henderson. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your time. I'll explain to you how this process works here. Uh, the first thing is I'll have to thank our sponsors. Number one is the foreign exchange, where we are right now. Number two is Stephanie Phillips, U.S. Senate candidate. Three is Carl Catarata, Clark County District Trustee, District A. Number four is Ron Quince, U.S. Congressional District 1. Number five is Barbie's Goodies Donuts. So if there's any left on the way out, you can maybe taste one. All right. The process, like I said, first thing, the panel members will introduce themselves by giving their name, position, and the organization they represent. Number two, each candidate will be given 1 minute, and that's just you today, to introduce yourself and asked to explain why you are running and seeking our endorsements. Number three, candidates, please remember that this is an interview, not a debate, so it doesn't apply to you. You will direct your answers to the panel members only. Number four, when you receive a question from a panel member, you will be given 1 minute to answer the question. And number five, Jim here will be the timekeeper. Once you receive the yellow card, you will be given 15 seconds to wrap up. And once you're given the red card, Jim will throw you out. He's a bad guy. I'll try and stop him, okay? All right. Number six, the candidates will then be given up to 1 minute for a response. You know, sell yourself, tell us your website, etc., etc. Now the panel members will introduce themselves to you.
Hello, good afternoon. Kylie Tuckett, member of Veterans in Politics.
Good afternoon. Joaquin Perry-Edwards, Armed Forces Chamber of PAC.
Jim Jonas, Director of Veterans and Politics International.
Barbara Lucian, member of Veterans and Politics International.
Steve Horner, member of the Nevada Democratic Veterans and Military Families Caucus.
Barbara Dreyer with the Nevada Democratic Veterans and Military Families Caucus.
Mikey Kelly, Nevada Democratic Veterans and Military Families Caucus. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice meeting you all. Well, my name is Leo Henderson. I am running for Nevada State District 7. Not a career politician, but I'm a politician. I started in 2020, my first run against incumbent Edgar Flores. I did good for being my first time. It took 5,000 my constituents, 31% for being my first time. The reason I'm running is because our constituents, our public, needs to change. We need to take corruption out of government. We need to make sure we give the power back to the people. And one thing I'm doing is, as a former correction officer and also a RTC operator, I want to make a change because I see so much stuff that has to change. And I'm here to give the opportunity to my constituents to know who I am, and that I'm there for them. I'm working for them.
And now the panelists. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So Kylie Tuckett, member of Veterans in Politics. So for community members and veterans who aren't familiar with the state Senate district position, what can you educate them on your role and responsibilities? And then as well as what is the biggest issue you see in your district and how do you plan to address it?
Thank you for your question. The thing that I'm going to do to help and explain to the veterans is that I'm also there to take care of the homeless problem. Okay, that's an issue. Another issue that we have is public safety. Okay, and so many veterans that I see and that I know that I'm always transporting them in my operating as a coach operator. I feel for them, and they need the respect and the honor that they served their country, and then they need to make sure that we take care of them. So, as running as a candidate for that District 7, I want to make sure that I clean up the community. I help the veterans, and make sure that everybody's taken care of.
Good afternoon, Joaquin Perry, Armed Forces Chamber Pact. My question is, with your experience, your finance, and your work ethic, what would you do to support your voters?
Well, what I'll do is I would like to give more money back to helping the children, more resources for children on the street that they need more places to go to do after schools and when their parents are working. So many kids out there, they're on the street hanging around with the wrong crowd. I grew up being part of the Boys and Girls Club. That's way back when. But at the same time, when I was in elementary, they took out. I used to know how to do auto mechanics, sewing, cooking, basic things that these kids need. Okay, that I want to bring back into their education. So every kid has an opportunity to learn and be sufficient and be part of the community.
Well, you actually already answered the question I was going to ask, but I can always come up with another one. Since you're not the current office holder in this race, why are you running? What is that individual doing wrong? Prove to me why that person should be taken out of office.
The person in office right now, I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. It's just they're not focused in the right direction of the community, her district. My thing is that she needs to pay more attention to her district that she's supposed to be taking care of. Our community, if you don't see the person out there getting to know the community, that means that her focus is somewhere else. And my thing is, as a candidate, okay, you need to make sure that you are there, and I will do my best. Once I get elected, I'm going to do my best, okay, to be out there on the street, on my community, so they could see me, twice a month, 3 times a month, whatever it takes to understand what the community needs. So my thing is, it's just being out there more. I'm not going to bash anybody. Mrs. Lang, I don't know her, but she might be doing good jobs in many other places, but not part of the community.
Barbara with Veterans in Politics. I'd like to address a little bit about the education in schools, and you seem to be very interested in the protection of what are your policies, or what plan do you have to ensure the safety of these kids in the schools?
Thank you for that question. Work along with the governor, Governor Joe Lombardo, and also work with the police department, Metropolitan Police Department, to have a program, so we could go ahead and have these schools more of a safer place for the kids to go study. If the banks, the courts could have metal detectors, why not the schools? My thing is, we need to protect our kids first before we do anything else. And then the teachers, the students, and the community will feel safe. Public safety is number one.
Suicide among veterans is on the rise, and it's been on the rise for quite a while. As a Nevada State Senator, what could you do? What programs can you endorse that would help curb this trend?
To curb, the mental illness out there amongst the veterans is that we need to get more people out there with the veterans, especially the homeless, get them out of the street, bring them in, have a facility for them to come and get checked and talk to. Right now, I don't see that much happening. I know they have all these other places where they go, but it's not enough. I think that they should. I will be putting more money to open in more facilities for the veterans to come in to get help and be seen, not have a waiting period like they have at the Veterans Hospital. Right now, we want to make sure that our veterans that served our country are taken care of from the get-go.
Barbara Dreyer. I have a two-part question. The first part is my background was a teacher. Taught in behavior school that was subsequently closed by CCSD. What are your ideas for improving effective discipline in our schools? And do you know the significance of April in regards to military families?
Go ahead and repeat that question one more time, please.
No problem. I have to read it myself. What are your ideas for improving effective discipline in our schools? And do you know about April for military families?
Okay, I do not know about April, that part. But in regards to the schools, disciplinary, we need to have to have more stricter rules, more policies, and making sure that parents and the students understand that you come to school. So we had to have more stricter rules, because before, when I was in school, they used to expel me if I did something wrong. If you don't want to be part of the school system, then, go do selective service or go do something. Mm-hmm. My thing is if a kid don't want to study, then guess what? Let's send them to selective service. Send them to the military, so they can learn how to become a better citizen. But for right now, what we have, we need to make sure that we work with the students, we work with the parents and the teachers.
And just so you know, April is the month of the military child. So purple represents the struggles that they go through, being transient and everything that goes along with being a military child.
Thank you. I do appreciate you telling me that.
Mikey Kelly, Nevada Democratic Veterans and Military Families Caucus. The state has an executive branch agency called the Nevada Department of Veteran Services. NDVS is the agency that when people are they run the two veterans homes, one in Boulder, one in Sparks. The cemeteries, they also have veteran service officers. So whenever when you leave active duty or leave the military, you have to, and you're filing a claim for care, they have to process the claim, and they're basically like claims adjusters, and they actually process the claims for us. There have been consistent problems. Currently, NDVS is under a state investigation because of the way they treated their employees. There was gender harassment, gender discrimination and harassment, sexual harassment and discrimination rampant within the department. Employees have from Reno to Vegas had made complaints. They were ignored by the state's equal opportunity apparatus. They were ignored by several legislators. They were ignored by the Veterans Service Commission. They were ignored by the governor. It wasn't until people actually went to the media that this was actually exposed. My question to you is, you want to be a state legislator. It's a part-time legislature with a part-time legislature holding a full-time legislative branch accountable. Are you prepared to do the work that's necessary to do that? And what would you do in the case of, and it doesn't matter whether it's NDVS or any state department, when you have someone coming to you and saying, there's an issue in an executive branch agency, what do you plan on doing to hold the executive branch accountable?
What I will do is I'll make sure that we hold these individuals accountable. We need to listen to the workers. We need to make sure that that's changed, because I see it myself, not, in my line of work, I see it too. So holding these people accountable, putting their feet on the fire, say, look, these are people to be heard, and we need to take care of the issue. I understand that it's been going on for a long time, but it takes the media to come in to listen. Well, if that's the case, then that's what it's going to be. But for my point, I would do my best to be out there and be a listening ear to them and take action.
Second round.
Yeah, I was just going to let everybody know. If the panel members, if you do have further questions for this candidate, feel free. Our next interview isn't until 3:15, so we have plenty of time. Mr. Henderson, that's so good for you, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, so one of the panel members, you guys want to go ahead and just ask another question, please?
Could you support giving veterans to become fully vested in PERS after a short probationary period rather than waiting the five years? And how would you fund this if you would support it?
Thank you for that question. Yes, I will support it. In regards to funding it, I mean, it's something that I have not done my homework on, but I will look into it. I'm not going to give you an answer that I don't know something to do it, but I will support it.
Okay, you said you wanted to be more involved with your community and with the district that you would represent. What does that look like, and how can you be impactful when you're involved with them?
Getting out there with the community, being part of the community, doing more community outreach, church outreach, having programs, because that's my whole goal. You have to have a purpose while you're running for. You're not just running for popularity or, my thing is I'm doing it because I really want to make a change. I want to make that district, a better place for this, for the kids, the veterans, the elderly. And one thing is, it takes a leader to do what they, I want to do. And if one person does it, like myself, one district at a time. If I do it, they see a change, guess what? District 5 will come in, District 2 will come in. It's about just leadership, being out there with the community.
Okay, well, if go ahead, you have a question? Kind of not a question, and again, it's not really a question. It's kind of a really quick statement. Is that okay? Yeah, we got plenty of time. Sure. And part of it's a little bit of an education, because I think sometimes people forget, and a lot of our candidates don't necessarily understand. So veterans are, obviously people that served in the military. We kind of fall under several different branches. So we are and several different federal agencies. So we fall under the Department of, if you're in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force, you're in Department of Defense. If you're in the Coast Guard, you're in Homeland Security. If you're in the Public Health Service, you're under Health and Human Service. If you're in the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, which those are uniformed services, you're under Department of Commerce. But they have very similar missions and very similar stressors. And when we leave active duty, our records and everything are transferred to the Department of Veterans Affairs, who normally processes that. But one of the things that we also have we have 2 veterans homes, one in the north, one in the south. And years ago, when the veterans home in the north was opened, it was opened very quickly, and they could not afford to they didn't have the time to hire state employees to operate the home. So there was an agreement made that they would have private employees temporarily staff it, while the home in the south would continue to be staffed by state employees. The home up north received what was the worst audit and one of the worst audits in Nevada history. And over 30 citations from the Centers of Medicare and Medicaid and Medicare Services because of numerous infractions that were very serious. And I guess the question is, why should I, as a veteran, why should veterans trust you to lead when we're facing these type of realities? Why should we trust you?
My whole thing is this, I don't like privatizing the jobs. Okay, you put it out there as a contract. Guess what? It's about to fail, because private organizations don't care, not as much as people like the veterans that been in the system. They should run it because they know what is needed. My thing is that when the state or the federal tends to just put the buck on a private company, it never works. To me, I will never allow that to happen. I will make it where the veterans take over, because they've been there, they know what is needed, and they know how to control it.
Okay, remind me in the future, never tell Mike Kelly we got plenty of time. I'm just messing around. Actually, Mikey, thanks for bringing that up, though, and educating people on those, because individuals don't understand that. So thank you. I got a little bit of an easier question. Well, it might be easier. Can you explain exactly where State Senate District 7 is?
7 is from Desert Inn west all the way to Maryland, from Maryland all the way down south to Russell, and from Russell all the way down to east to Boulder, and back Boulder to Desert Inn.
All right. If I can stop tripping over my nostrils here. Thank you so much, Mr. Henderson, for your time. And I'm going to thank our sponsors one more time. The first one is the Foreign Exchange. The second one is Stephanie Phillips, U.S. Senate candidate. The third one is Carl Carterata, Clark County School District A candidate. And the fourth is Ron Quince, U.S. Congressional District candidate, District 1 candidate. The last one is the one I like the best, Barbie's Goodies Donut. And like I said, if we have any left, you can try some on your way out. You get 1 minute now to, I don't know, sell yourself, but tell us your website so that people can reach you. All right? Thank you so much.
Well, my name is, again, I do panel. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your panel. I learn a lot from Mikey now. You know, that was great. Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much. I like to learn, and I need to learn more. So, again, to my constituents on District 7, my name is Leo Henderson. You could go ahead and look me up at Leo for Nevada. That's a numerical number, for Nevada.com. My telephone number is 725-284-9292. I'm out there for you guys. I'm there to work for you guys. I'm not a political, career politician. I'm just a blue collar worker, a concerned citizen. I don't care if you're on the right side or the left side. To me, we're all people. We're all American people. We need to work together.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.